Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, we talk about all things fandom and we talk about them in a positive way. If that's something that appeals to you, you've come to the right place. This is Throwback Thursday, where usually we give you any sort of movie news we have and then relate an older movie to it that I think you should watch. Today got me thinking though, with the newest installment of Insidious coming to theaters tomorrow, about another movie that sort of had a similar fate. Because as you may or may not know, Insidious is also possibly getting a TV series. So with Insidious possibly getting a TV series, I thought, let's talk about Poltergeist from 1982 and why that is a good movie. So let's jump right into it. Alright, so Poltergeist 1982 was the original Poltergeist movie. They did a remake, and I really didn't enjoy the remake as much, although I really wanted to. Now, the reason that Poltergeist from 1982 works so well is that a lot of people believe that it was technically directed by Steven Spielberg, and you can actually see a little bit of these elements in it. The movie didn't start off, in fact, as a ghost story. Actually, the movie Poltergeist was an early run of what eventually became E.T. You see, they didn't want an alien horror movie, apparently, and Steven Spielberg didn't want to really not use the stuff that he thought about. So eventually that script sort of evolved and changed. And parts of that story element became what you know as Poltergeist today. But that's not the only strange thing about the Poltergeist movie, because not only did it start its life as what became E.T. and then Poltergeist became a different project, but you would actually be a little bit surprised to know that at one point it was considered to be a sequel to Close Encounters of the Third Kind. So that's right, the movie started off having all sorts of crazy things going on before it actually became the ghost story that we see today. And with that being said, the movie is truly one of the more terrifying movies I've ever seen. It is on the list of the very few movies that have ever succeeded in scaring me. And why not? Because the film was directed by Toby Hopper. That's who was selected to direct it, and he was hot off the heels of the movie Funhouse and the much more successful movie that he was hot off the hills of was Texas Chainsaw Massacre. So now you have this winning combination of people that you know are going to deliver on what they said they're going to deliver on. And with the movie becoming an outright ghost story, it makes for one of the scariest films ever. It's every parent's nightmare to see their kids get abducted, but to be abducted by a supernatural spirit becomes something entirely new and utterly terrifying, as this poltergeist entity terrorizes a family who has just recently moved into the subdivision, all because the dad is working for this company and they have moved them into this house. And when they move them into this house seems to not want them there. Is it the house itself, or is it something completely different? And that's kind of where you're at when you come into the Poltergeist movie. As at first, little fun things happen that they can't explain. But pretty soon, their daughter is abducted, apparently, by something sinister from the other side. And they call people in to try to save her, to kind of find out where she is, because they're hearing her voice from the other side. And what is the other side? Well, it's the spirit realm, apparently. And they have to rescue their daughter from whatever this is that has her. Now, I was still pretty young when I saw this movie, and of course, that's kind of one of the reasons it scares me. But looking back, I don't know how this movie ended up being PG, because even by today's standard, this is one of the scariest movies I've ever seen. And it holds up today. Other than the fashion that they wear, the movie really does hold up. Now, the movie spawned 2 sequels, and you know, if it was made today, it would have spawned even more. Now, also noted that the Italian film Ghost House was said to be an imitation of the original. Now, whether or not that's true, that's up to you as the viewer to decide, because a lot of people at the time said that it was. Now, on the other note, it also may have spawned a TV series. All right, so it may have spawned a TV show. And the reason I say may is that it kind of did and kind of didn't. Because Poltergeist Legacy came out on Showtime, then later aired on Sci-Fi, where it garnered a little bit more popularity. However, there isn't really a huge connection between Poltergeist Legacy and Poltergeist the movie, other than the simple fact that this group called the Legacy are apparently the ones that helped to rescue Carol Ann. And that's really the only connection between the two. But if you really want to look at it, Insidious could kind of be giving us the same thing. If they are to do a TV series, who's to say that it has to connect with all of the movies? If they give us some little bit of connective tissue with a whole bunch of other spirits being fought and found out and discovered, then that is kind of in the same vein as Poltergeist Legacy ultimately ended up being. However, that show kind of strayed so far from the source material that there's a lot of people that question as to whether it is actually part of Poltergeist or not. And in fact, one of the side notes is that Zelda Rubinstein did appear in Poltergeist Legacy, but her name was identified as Christina instead of as her character Tangina. And I don't know if this was for copyright reasons or if this was even supposed to be the same character. But from all the sources that have been out there over the years, the show did in fact start off as sort of a poltergeist type of show with that one small connective tissue of the Legacy. Now, when it comes to the original movie, you could go so much more wrong than watching that. The performances are great by everyone involved, and Zelda Rubinstein is worth watching just for her alone. The movie goes down as one of those absolute classics that you simply must see. If you've never seen this movie before, check out 1982's Poltergeist. Alright, so let us know what you think in the comments below. Have you seen Poltergeist from 1982? What did you think? Are you excited about a new Insidious series possibly happening? Let us know what you think in the comments. And don't forget to share this video with all of your friends so they can be a part of the conversation as well. Then hit that like button as hard as you can. It helps the channel. We appreciate it. And then Miko says we need more subscribers. And you don't want to disappoint Miko. So go ahead and hit that subscribe button and hit that notification bell so you don't miss a single video we do. Then friends, at the end of the day, I know it, you know it, and Miko knows it. Fandom is family.